Hello! If you're returning to my channel, I'm Lucky. You probably know me as the medic bag guy or the armor guy. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lucky. I play a lot of Payday. I'm just gonna get nice and quick into this one today. For anybody that doesn't know, Payday 3 just had their first paid DLC update, and it released the syntax error heist, some guns, and a tailor pack. However, we're not really gonna be talking about all the content that came out today. We're instead gonna be talking about one major issue I had with the recent update. It has nothing to do with the way the heist is, how the guns play, anything with the tailor packs. It's got more to do with the core game development. So if you're a game developer, please don't make this mistake. For a little bit of credibility here, I've played the game for about 200 hours at this point, it's been out for about 4 months. So the main thing I want to talk about today is some of the philosophy surrounding the update. I noticed it when going through the patch notes, and I definitely felt it when playing the game on Overkill, which is the highest difficulty on the game, by the way. And that is the concept of, we made some changes now so that we can fix them later. And I think that's not okay. I'm going to get into some major points about why this is wrong and what exactly happened, and I will be presenting solutions later in the video, because that's always something I would like to make a point of doing. There's no reason for me to just complain on camera and then move on with my day. I want the game to get better, of course. So the first point I want to make is the balance changes to medical supplies, in particular with the intention of making them usable later. This is a very bad concept for game development. There were quite a few nerfs to medical supplies this patch and last patch, as well as some bug fixes that affect medical builds, but we can't really count those because they're bug fixes. I figured I'd just mention them anyway. So in the past two patches we had a last man standing rebalance, health damage on overkill increases, first aid kits are now received half as often from civilian trades, and dozers no longer drop first aid kits. Many of these changes were done to include armor repair kits, which are kind of fun honestly now that I've had some time to mess with them. However, they really needed to be implemented a different way in my opinion, but we'll talk about that another day. Now there's a little bit of paraphrasing here, but all these nerfs and fixes took place right now, and the team has decided they will be fixing them later. Here I've got a clip of the lead balancing developer suggesting this is the case, and he's stating that we'll be able to take medical builds later. Now before I play this clip, I want you to take it with a little grain of salt here. The developers are answering these questions on a live stream, and they're answering within seconds of being asked the question, so they're not fully thought out answers sometimes, but here's the clip.
We are adding the armor repair kit because, we don't want to devalue armor bags. Specifically, we still want it to be valuable, but we want to give you more sources. We will have some skill changes in the future to give you more ways to replenish armor, and we are looking into making health builds viable. But I don't have an estimate on that, so I can't really say what date that will be. But we are looking into, if you want to run a health build, like that, you can run a health build. If you want to run an armor build, you can run an armor build. But we don't want to rush it.
Now to go alongside this, I also have a tweet from this same developer saying, it will get better. And first of all, I want to speak directly to that developer and say thank you. Thank you for reassuring me like this. It's really important for a community to be heard, and your response here really made me feel heard. Developers, I want you to keep doing this. Keep communicating with your community. While this doesn't fix the issue right now, it still lets me know that they care. And that's what really matters. I'm going to go a little further into why changing now and fixing later is a bit of a problem for a game like this. When a developer pushes an update like this saying they're going to fix it later, it's them acknowledging that they know the system is not complete right now. There are a few other aspects besides these few things that are changed now and fixed later, so I believe this may be an ongoing issue if we're not careful. To keep this section a little shorter, I think the philosophy of changing or nerfing things now and then fixing them later is unacceptable, specifically when talking about a live service game like Payday 3 is. It isn't just me calling it a live service game, by the way. The developers have also referred to this game as a live service game many times. You're not updating a game like Payday 2 right now. In Payday 2 you had 3 months to balance and put together a patch before it was released to the public. We're playing a Payday 3 patch now, and every 2 or 3 weeks whenever you update it. You need to be balancing for now and not for later. So imagine this for a minute. Imagine a competitive shooter like Valorant. Imagine if Riot Games nerfed a character to make them completely unplayable, because in 6 weeks they're going to be reworking that character to be incredibly strong. No one's going to play that character in the live service game for those 6 weeks. It's a partial change to the whole problem. If a character's not performing where you want it to, you don't nerf it now and fix it later. You rebalance the whole thing and then give the whole product to everybody. Now I know the balancing stakes are lower in a PvE game like Payday, but this felt like it was a pretty good comparison. We're being driven away from using the medic bag right now because it sucks really bad on overkill. and I have played it many times on Overkill. I really want to make it work, but it's just so bad now. One final thing I want to add to this point is that we have a challenge system in the game. This is the developers trying to encourage us to use a variety of different builds in the game. By balancing things this way and making some things unplayable right now, people aren't going to do that. People are going to try the medic build maybe 1 or 2 times and then give up on it because it's not great anymore. You also never have ammo problems. When patches are balanced this way, it's going to force everybody into one little corner, and they're going to be using one build style prominently all the time. Now, dissenting opinion could say, oh no, but you can just use it. You don't have to use the best stuff all the time. I disagree. Medic bag build is my favorite build. I know it inside and out, and I've probably played it for 50 hours at this point. Even I can't do it right now. That's how you know it's really bad. Changing things now and not fixing them when the patch goes live makes people unhappy, and unhappy people don't play games, and that makes me sad. Alright, I've droned on enough about how much I think this design philosophy sucks for updates. I think it's a pretty easy concept to understand, and I think you guys probably have the gist of it now. Here are some things I think we need to do to fix it. The obvious choice is to balance things for the now, even if that means it's a band-aid fix to still make things playable. With this recent update, you took away a lot of first aid kits, so what you maybe could have done is buff the first aid kits to heal a little bit more per first aid kit. You could maybe add some more charges to the medic bag. And there's any number of changes you could have made to help, band-aid fix this for right now. What I'm saying is just do something to make up for the nerfs that are happening. That way things are actually usable for right now. It would be really fun, honestly, to have 6 weeks to just screw around with a very different medic bag build, even if it doesn't look like the final product. I think making some changes like this would be a lot of fun, not just for me, but for a lot of people trying to experiment with the game. Now, this part may sound crazy, and I hope it's doable, but don't change things until the whole system is ready. I'm sorry, my voice just sounds really sarcastic, but legitimately, just wait to push out some things until everything's ready to go. I think changing the overkill health damage and dropping armor repair kits from civs probably could have waited for another update, specifically the one where you change all the med stuff to have more viable medical builds. I say this because I think overkill, the difficulty that you mainly changed, was in a pretty good spot. The way I have it worded here is, God forbid you have a 75% pass rate instead of a 65% pass rate or whatever it is now. Overkill can be a little easy right now if it means I get all of my med bag changes at the same time, you know what I mean? Also, those numbers were pulled straight out of my medic bag hole, but I think that's kind of how they're deciding balancing changes over at Starbreeze. They're looking at analytics and numbers pretty often from what I can tell, and that's a very good thing. My other solution, I don't know if this is something you can do, but I'm just throwing it out there. Give us some kind of test branch or beta branch. If that's something you guys can do, that'd be great. I know a lot of companies do this, and I think it's because the devs don't always find all the problems and balancing issues, as well as a huge sample size of us does. And I feel like that's normal, by the way. I feel like the developers should not be able to find every little thing that's wrong. That is way too much work for a group of, 20 people or whoever are testing the game. It could be much more, it could be much less, I'm not a game developer. It's scientifically incredibly difficult for you guys to get good feedback and find all the issues without an incredibly large sample size. I know this might not be a possibility to give a bunch of people a beta branch build or a test build or something, but I'm just trying to present some solutions with the limited information I have both about game development and about Starbreeze, so I'm trying my best here. Even going a little further on that, if you don't want the beta build to be a public build, give it to a more controlled group. I think 500 people, could be good. Make a beta Discord, gatekeep people based on how many hours they have, really control the group you want testing this stuff, and then we can give you good feedback. I guess what I'm mostly trying to say is, you guys are the developers, you know what you need. We can help. Tell us what you're trying to test. Tell us what you're maybe thinking about changing, and we'll let you know in forums if we think that's a good or bad idea on paper. I know for sure if they would have come out and said, hey, we're changing it so you only get half as many first aid kits right now, I would let them know that overkill was going to be a lot tougher, especially if they mentioned overkill health damage was going to be changing. I would have definitely caused some outcry if I saw this ahead of time. That means even though the patch is still going to come out now and they probably didn't have time to change anything, we'll still get a fix maybe a week earlier, because they're thinking more about it. I understand if having a beta branch is not something that the dev team can do, but maybe consulting us with changes you're thinking about making can help. Again, I'm just trying to give you ideas here, and I really want a balanced game. That's all I want. I just want Payday 3 to succeed, man. I love playing this game. Alright, let's wrap it up. My goal for this video was to bring attention to the update philosophy of, we'll change it now and then fix it later. I don't think this is a good update style for a game that's live service like Payday 3. We're playing the game right now, so you should be balancing for right now. If you're not doing that, it's going to force us into playing one build type like we are now. The developers saying that they're fixing something later after changing it right now is them admitting that it's not ready to go. and I think they should consider not shipping those changes now because they're gonna fix it later. Just put everything out later when it's all completely redone. My proposed solutions for fixing this are as follows. Balance things for the now. Don't make any changes unless you're willing to band-aid fix them to make things usable right now, and then fully fix them later. You never know. That band-aid fix might actually be what happens to be the final fix later. It could resonate with the community and become a fully fledged feature, whatever you did to band-aid fix things now. And some bugs actually really are features. If it's possible, give us a beta branch. Supply us with, I don't know, 1 or 2 heists, change all the numbers that you want to change, and then we'll get back to you with some answers. If you don't want the public to have their hands on it, give it to a controlled group. You can only hand it out. You can hand it out to Starbreeze partners. You can control it based on number of hours played, trusted community members, however you're going to set that up. You can set any criteria you want. You are the developers. The final thing I want to say before the outro is this. I really want this game to succeed. I make videos like this not to complain, but because I want to give the dev team clear and concise feedback. And I only do that where I think things can be improved. I want absolutely no rude words spoken to any developers after this video comes out. And I'd really like the community to remain positive about the outlook of this game. This past update was incredible, by the way. The trailer was amazing, the heist is really fun to play, the guns are awesome, the Taylor pack looks amazing. I want you guys to celebrate the good things, but just don't forget to talk about the things that we don't like. Because if we talk about the things we don't like in a nice manner, it's gonna make changes. It's going to tell the dev team exactly what they need to hear, and we'll get a better game out of it. That's the whole video. I want to give a special thanks to the people that helped me write this script. It took me about 3 days to write it, off and on. So big thanks to my very stinky wife who helped me out. John over at Rusty Chains helped me out a bunch. And big thanks to Sea-Dog, voice actor, Sea-Dog VA. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to watch me play this game live, or many other games, check me out over on Twitch. And subscribe on YouTube, I guess. Well, that's all I got. Bye.